Hello, FilterPixel Live friends. My name is Jim Landers, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Sorry about that slight delay. My earbuds stopped working, and I had to switch to these real quick. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the FilterPixel Live show. I am so glad that you're here with me today. I've got a special guest with me today, but before I get to that, my name is Jim Landers, and I am the community head for FilterPixel. And my mission, my personal mission, is to uplift photographers so that you can make an incredible income doing what it is that you're passionate about, making your dreams become your reality. Each week on the FilterPixel live show, I interview a remarkable member of the photographer community so you can get to know the movers and shakers of the constantly evolving photography industry. A little bit of housekeeping before I bring our guest on. Let's see. Throughout the show, I encourage you to comment and to ask questions. I also want to encourage you to tell the guests what you feel. Give them a little bit of encouragement. Say thank you for being here, and hit that like button and hit that love button. We appreciate that. And do me a favor and hit the share button. Click that share button. Let other people know about FilterPixel Live. All right. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, FilterPixel saves hours of manual work for you by automating your culling and your editing process. So you can join the FilterPixel family community of over 3,000 photographers by who are also using AI to help with their culling and their editing by going to FilterPixel Family on Facebook or by scanning this QR code that I am putting on the screen right now. So take a moment, take your phone out, scan that code, and you'll be able to go straight to the FilterPixel Live community and spend some time with some others who are doing the same thing that you're doing. All right, I'm going to take that off. You can come back to it later if you need to. I'll put it temporarily over on the top left, but that takes up a lot of space on the screen. So I just moved it over here, right there. All right, so I'll leave that up temporarily while I bring on our guest. So our guest today, our special guest today is Missy DePiro. She's the client concierge of FrameSuite, which is an all-in-one design and print solution. Really cool. That I only heard about a couple of weeks ago. So today you're going to hear about the cool things that you can do with this fantastic software and printing and more. So I want to bring Missy on the screen with me right now. Let's bring her on. There we go. Hi, Missy.
Hi, hello.
I'm so glad that you're here with me today.
Yes, I am so happy to be here as well.
I love it. Well, can you tell me a little bit about you? Not the software just yet. Tell me who you are.
So I'm Missy DePiro, and as you mentioned on your last show when you were introducing me, that I am of the DePiro family, which was so fun that you said born because Megan DePiro is my sister-in-law, and she is a photographer and a teacher trainer and a coach as well, and she talks about selling with empathy and uplifting. I know how you said uplifting was your message, and saving time, and that is also what she thoroughly believes in. And so she created FrameSuite, and so I happen to be her sister-in-law, and so I got a first chance to go to one of her creative conferences that she was giving is Wall Art Revolution, which really helps people understand how important it is to sell wall art. You can increase your sales exponentially just by adding one piece, two pieces, three pieces of wall art. And so
Right.
she's been doing this for so many years that she created that conference on how to do it, and then also created FrameSuite. And so I actually got to tour with her. I actually worked in the world of film, and so I've created a lot of wall art in my day. And I got a chance to tour with her and my brother, because she's my sister-in-law, and with Wall Art Revolution, not even knowing that FrameSuite existed. And I was like, wow, you really understand the whole system of selling wall art. And they showed me Frame Suite. And I said, oh my gosh, can I come work with you? Because I absolutely love this. So that's my story.
I love it. Well, I'm excited for you to share what Frame Suite's all about, and I'm sure our viewers are too. So before I ask you to give a demonstration, a presentation about it, the title of your presentation is Less Math, More Magic.
Yeah,
Can you
and
tell us
that's
what that's all about?
it's super specific to this software because we definitely have done the math for you in several ways. So we actually, the way that Frame Suite has been made is that we think in terms of outer dimensions, like interior designers, as
Yeah.
opposed to photographers who think of print sizes. One of Megan's
Yeah.
favorite things to say is, "I don't know what size this print is, and I don't care," because we're not thinking in terms of prints. We're thinking in terms of walls. What
Yeah.
looks good on the wall? In fact, let me just kind of scooch over here to show you my actual wall art that I have up here. I don't know if I'm
Nice.
pointing in the right place.
You are. You are.
But so we're here to do the math for you. We created these galleries that look great on the wall, and all you have to do is take your client's wall, pop it in there, pop the pieces on, or pop the whole arrangement on there. Choose a different frame family collection, put your images in, and boom, you've got a sale. I mean, it's that easy. So less math, more magic.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, among other things, one other thing that makes it so magical is that we have a one set price, set it and forget it. So we have size buckets.
uh,
So we have kind of like if you think of mattresses where they have, the queen, the king, the twin. We
okay.
have the mini, the small, the standard, grand, impact and showcase. And within each of those size buckets, there are 4 or 5 different pieces that we've already decided their aspect ratio of square, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 1 to 2. And so we
Okay.
have the aspect ratios within each bucket, but within each bucket, within each of those, it doesn't matter what frame you choose, what media you choose, what presentation you choose, it's the same price for each of those.
That
And
makes
so,
it easy.
right. So, when you go to like, a framer or a company, you have to think about, oh, what size mat did I choose and what happens if I change the frame? And again, as I said, we think in terms of interior designers as opposed to photographers, because we do the outer dimensions. If you change out the frame or you change out the media, it does not change the gallery. It doesn't make it go like cattywampus on you. It works its way in. So it's either the thinner frame, thicker frame. So that's why the print size also will shift on you, but your arrangement's not shifting. So you don't have to make all this amazing arrangement. And then, for example, you go to find a lab and they don't sell that size. Now, what do? Well, we don't have that problem. We are the lab and we've chosen the sizes and we've chosen the prices, and it's that easy.
I love it. That's really
Yeah.
cool. I mean, that's obviously you're right. That's not something that we think about as photographers. We think about the 20 by 30, the 40 by 60. We're thinking about the print size that we get from the lab that we've worked with for years. And so, do we think about the frame? A lot of us do, but I know there's a lot that don't. I think that photographers should do the framing and even the installation, because even the neighbor could come over and do a family portrait in the backyard. You've got to be able to do more than what they're doing. So that's where the printing comes in. And then to do a nice presentation like the example you have on your wall requires some framing. I know not all prints are framed. There's metal prints and there's
Mhm.
some canvas that's not. I get it. But even my canvas, I frame. I still frame it. Not all the
Yes.
time. It depends on what my client wants. And it depends on the decor of their home as well as to what I'm going to do. And so I do my planning sessions in their home, sitting in
Yes.
front of the wall we're going to put it on. And a lot of times they don't know what wall it's going to go on. We decide together where it's going to go. And they probably have something there already. And so I'll ask about it and say, that wall, that piece of art you have on the wall in the ideal spot is a beautiful piece of art. Do you know the artist? And they'll normally say, no, it was just match the color, the decor of the room.
I
It's
got
like,
it from
I
office
know
or
the
from
perfect spot for your
just
photographs to
yeah,
go.
just got from TJ Maxx or something, right? Like they don't even know
Yes.
they don't even
Yeah.
care what it was.
So, so that excuse that they have too many things on their wall, that doesn't, I mean, how is that more important than their family?
Well,
That photograph of, oh,
I
so
think
go
part
ahead.
of the experience too is, giving people permission to put themselves on the wall. I
Yes.
used
Yeah,
to
that's
I used
true.
to think the same way. I used to have my family photos in the kitchen, and then I had all of my artwork in the living
Mhm.
room. And, when I started working with Eric and Megan and I was able to make my own sample, like I
Yeah.
absolutely adore seeing
Yes.
giant pictures on the wall from this is a gala that we went to. And it just brings me absolute joy. And I don't feel the least bit embarrassed about having a giant
No.
picture of myself behind me. I love looking at
Mm-mm.
it, and it's given me permission to enjoy what actually, I found joy in.
It brings you joy. I mean, imagine a family of 4, and mom is walking past that family, her family, and every time she walks past it, she notices it. She may be in a hurry one day, most days, but still she notices it. But it causes her to cry tears of joy. Did that picture of some waterfall that she's never even been to and doesn't even know the name of, does that bring that? No, it may match the decor colors in the room, but that's about the extent of what it does. This image of her brings her joy for years to come. Why wouldn't she do that? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me.
Absolutely. And because with Frame Suite, especially, you don't have to understand the different styles of a room. You don't have to understand the terminology. You don't have to try to guess. We actually
Good.
say, we encourage you to play. Pop something on the wall and cycle through the frames and see what you see. What is picked up in the room? The metals, the woods, is it black? Is it white? What colors are in the room? One of my favorite things is that I'll go in on our frame preview side and I'll be looking through frames and I'll say, oh, I love this frame with this image. And then I go to put it on my wall. It doesn't match my wall because it's like, what does your wall, let the wall speak to you. Let it tell you what it should have on it. Because,
That is so funny. We agree on that.
yeah, my favorite frame is Academy. I have yet to use Academy and I've purchased 15 pieces because it doesn't belong on my wall. And so, yeah, people, they get married to what they think looks best
Yeah,
within this microcosm shell, but it's like, no, this is for their wall. This is what the beauty of them looking at
that's
themselves.
right.
They shouldn't even be thinking about the frame. Like you said, I mean, I don't want to think about the frame. I don't go by and go, oh, look at my beautiful frames. I go, oh, look at my face. You know, look at
Yeah.
my boyfriend. Isn't he pretty? I mean, it's like, I don't care what frame it is.
Man, that reminds me, a guy called me one time about doing a family portrait, and he said, I'm making this story short. It was longer than this, but he said, I want to do a family portrait of my family. We haven't done one ever, and I want the big one. And of course, yeah, he wanted a print. I want the big one. Well, that doesn't mean anything to a
Yeah.
photographer, but to him, his understanding of what professional photography was limited to school pictures. And what is the school
The
picture big
big
size? An
ones,
8 by
11
10.
by, yeah, 8 by 10,
So
11 by
he thought an 8
14.
by 10 was the right size, and I have been into a bachelor's house. I would never expect this with a if a woman is around, but I saw an 8 by 10 above a couch once.
I mean, you can see my room. I have a 9-foot surfboard over my couch. People say
It's
they
fit
have
into
no walls.
space.
People say they have no walls, they have no space, they don't want something really large. This is 9 feet. I mean, it lives on that wall. I mean, walls can take a lot more than we think.
Yeah.
And if you put some tiny little, oh, pitiful thing over a couch, that's why, again, I love being able to put the client's walls in here because you give them, and we named these very specifically, like the
Oh,
mini. I mean,
yeah,
it's named mini because it's mini, but
yeah.
that is technically a 12 by 12 is a mini, right? And if your brain is thinking, I want the big one, the 12 by 12, right? You put a mini over the couch, it's like,
It's a
yeah,
postage stamp on a
it's
letter.
a
It's
postage
ridiculous.
stamp.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, there's so much more I could go on, but I wanna hear about your software. Can you show us a demo? Can you give us a presentation about how this actually works and the steps that we would take and what we would see when we actually started using it?
Absolutely. And as you said, I am the client concierge. So I give one on one Zoom tours. So this
Ooh,
is not
cool.
going to mean much to anybody if they're watching this and go, what buttons press what? So I'm going to try to, be really an overview because you can actually have a tour with me for free anytime. And I can actually show this to you again. So just keeping that in mind. Let me share the window here. Okay. I think it's thinking about it. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
All right. So this is the screen that you will see when you come into Frame Suite. You're going to want to request access because we are only for professional photographers, and we take that very seriously, and we don't want your
Nice.
clients coming into our site.
Good.
So once you do request access, you will find an email, and make sure you find it because you have to click on that verification email before we'll let you in because otherwise we don't realize that you signed up. So it might be in your junk box, wherever it is. Go ahead and find that. I'm already logged in here. And so there are two sides to the site. And as I said, there's the frame preview side and the wall arrangement side. I won't spend a lot of time on this side because it's not as exciting as the wall arrangement. But just to show you a couple of the quick things, we have this 3D view button. This is really helpful because this gives you a 180 of the actual frame. These are the frames that we actually had videoed that you can see all the detail. So you no longer need to carry frame corners. That is a huge point of contention with a lot of people. A lot of people want frame corners, but we, boxes of frame corners.
No, those aren't fun.
A confused mind says no, it's just, so we're hoping that you guys can, get out of that idea of the frame corners because they're right here. And you can use the arrows, like I said, to just kind of cycle through the frames. And you'll see these are the three presentations we have. Again, trying to keep it simple. We have paper, metal, and canvas. And on paper, we only offer white mats. I know a lot of people say, do you have black mats? Do you have green mats? Nope, it's white. And what you see is what you get. For example, this frame has a double beveled mat. Some of them have a deckled edge print with a mat. But again, it's just what is offered with that to what looks best in the galleries. However, if you don't want a mat, you can do a full presentation. So you just have the print and the glass over it, the acrylic glass, or you can do wide. And that is the super modern look with the really wide mat. And it's only offered in the 1-to-1 and a couple styles. If you want metal, there are 3 options. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a second to show you these options up close and personal. But we have gloss, satin, and sheer. And we also offer float frames. And then in canvas, we have mounted and stretched. And the stretched is for the float frames. And then the mounted is all the rest. So I don't know if you want to stop share for me. Can you do that, Jim? Because I think last time I tried to stop share, I got a little bit confused.
How's that?
I'm still seeing my own screen. Okay, how do I go back? Okay, let's see if I can go back to you. I'm back. Yay.
Yay.
Okay, so as I was saying, the 3 options that we have in metal. So again, I'm not trying to get too in the weeds with the details. These are the only 3 things we offer, the 3 options plus the 3 styles. But there's a gloss metal and it's a nice high shine. But as you can see, it is picking up the screen there. So if you have a room with lots of light or you want to do something less shiny, we have the satin metal. It is a much softer print. Sometimes actually it even is recommended if you took a photo and they love it and you realized it was a little bit soft, you can actually get away with using satin and it'll actually help because it's a softer print. And then the last one we have is the sheer, and that one is the one that actually looks like metal coming through. And Megan likes to call this the dad catcher because they love this finish. But these are kind of hard to explain to people. So you can actually order a sample pack of these 3 unframed on our website so that you can actually show. Because people will say, well, is there glass over it? And it's like, no, this is what has been framed. There is nothing additional on top of it. But it also looks like acrylic. A lot of people realize that. And it's much lighter and less expensive, I think, because it's not, acrylic can be insanely thick. And just to show you those 2 samples of the canvas I was telling you about. So this one is the float frame. And so you can see that it's actually got this gap here. So it's actually floating in the frame. And it is a soft canvas, which is why it's called a stretch canvas, because it's stretched over the stretcher bars. And then this is my favorite sample in the whole world, my chicken. I don't know how many people take photos of pets and animals, but this one was a prize-winning chicken. But this is the mounted canvas. It's got a thinner rabbit. And so it's mounted on a hard board, but you can see that there. And then the last sample that I'll show you, this is one of my, this is one of the deckled edge prints. So you can see that it's torn paper, and that's how you can see the deckle edge. And then there's also a mat with it. And this is cottage white, and it's a huge seller. So those are my samples. If you have any questions, or are you there still? There you are.
Those are cool. And that chicken, I would say that most people don't have a similar photograph to that.
I know.
So definitely stands out.
I know. Someone was submitting it to a competition, and I got to have a. This is ambrosia gold, by the way. It's a beautiful, beautiful frame. It's a very thick frame.
It is.
But anyways,
classic.
So that is literally all we offer. So, and it sounded like a lot probably, but it's not. So let me get you back onto to the wall arrangement side, and I'll just show you how this all works together. Okay. So yeah, that's about everything over here. You could just, pop an image in and add it directly to the cart from here. So you don't actually have to go ahead and use the wall arrangement side if you actually just know what you want to purchase.
Okay,
And
good.
also down below the pricing guide, when you click on that, it brings a PDF. And this is what I was going to show you before about how this works. So this is what I was telling you about the names of our buckets. And these are the sizes that are in the bucket. So you cannot customize with Frame Suite. These are the sizes we offer. We won't offer any other size. I mean, we might in the future, but if you say, but I needed, these are the sizes. But as you can see, there's the 1-to-1, 2-to-3s, 3-to-4, and pano. And some even have an additional size in there because we realized that we needed one more to snap these into place just right. So that is how that works. And like I said, if you choose, like, for example, the standard, this is your price and shipping is included. There is no tax because we're business to business. And it does not matter what media you chose and what frame you chose. That's your price if you buy anything within this size range. So that's how that works. So let me go ahead and click on wall arrangements. And if you want to ask me anything while I'm waiting on this to load. Are you there?
Is it loading?
It's loading. Yes.
What is it?
So
Cool.
we're actually, I guess.
Oh, I see it.
There we go.
I see what you mean.
We are working on making this faster. So we're a newer company. We're a family company. We built this from the ground up and we have been developing it for 5 years or so. We've been selling for about 2, and we are actually in the next 2 months overhauling the site to make it much faster. So we're actually going to, get all the background processes to load. And so this is going to be a much, much faster platform in 2 months' time. But anyway, so we're on the wall arrangement side, and you can see that we have 24 stock rooms built in here. So you can use these in your own advertising. You can use these with your client. Like I said, I highly recommend you bring in your own walls, but in case you don't have the wall or things like staircases, which sometimes are harder to photograph, we have all of these rooms in here. So you can play around here, and you can also, if you have an idea of what your client's room looks like.
And I can bring in my own photograph of the client's wall?
Yes, and we highly, highly recommend it. And I'll show you that in a second. I'll show you
That's
how
what
you
I'd love to
size
have.
it. But
Okay.
let me just explain the arrangement palette real quick. This is a nested
Okay.
palette. So what you see underneath here is what you get. So this is a single diptych, triptych 469. We have staircases. We have different types of galleries. We have a structured gallery, free form galleries. So for example, if I clicked on one of these, it will then take me to all of the aspect ratios within. So it starts with squares and it works its way into landscape and to portrait. All you have to do is click on one of these and it brings it onto the wall. And you just have to put it on the wall and then size up and down with your arrows on your keyboard to change the size. And you can just cycle through frames just like this. I'm just using my keyboard to cycle through frames. We have it set up to where you can just cycle through like this because each wall, like I said, will speak to you differently, and each arrangement will speak to you. Like, so black could pick up like the black in this chandelier, or the silver/gold can bring out the silver and gold in your room. White can have an effect. So it's just really kind of nice to be able to play to get to something that, you think will work on this wall. So I recommend that. And then if you choose one of the galleries, then we get into what I call frame families. And now you're going to see different frame families that look good together. So not just the same frame. And so you can, once again, get a good sense of the style that you're looking to design, and very quickly. Because again, less math, more magic. We just quickly are trying to get an idea of what the family likes, what looks good on their wall. And we won't know for a fact. So, you're guessing a little bit. But if you come with the united piece like this, how could they say no? And if they do say no, it could be a micro no. It could be like, I just don't like how thick this frame is. Well, that's when you can go into frames, click on it to activate it, and then just change out that frame. Does that feel better to you? So you can actually get through their style as well with them using Frame Suite, and, with them in person if you are comfortable doing that. Also on this side is where you can also look at the 3D view of the frame that you chose. You can change out the media through here as well. and you can see what the actual print size is. And as you can see, the print size is slightly grayed out because, again, we're not trying to focus on the print size, what looks good on this wall. So then you go into the image uploader over here. You can upload up to 28 images into your tray. It's loading at this moment. And all you do is click on the picture, click on the frame, and then click on the picture. And you can add your pictures in just like that. And again, you can, once again, use the media to help you decide which ones you want to put in there, if you need to be bigger, smaller. And again, if you're looking to now change the size or change the orientation in here, you can zoom in, you can move it around. All those things are done within here. So once again, when you upload these images, you don't have to make them exactly a certain size. Because I remember someone was telling me, well, what size does the image need to be? If it's a 24 by 20, does it have to be 24 by 20 or 17 by 8? And it's like, no, just pop in the whole image. Whether it's landscape, portrait, it doesn't matter. Because when you pop it into the frame, you can then arrange it how you need it to look in there. So once you're done figuring out how you want the arrangement to look, you close that out. From here, you can actually save the room, so you can save your progress. You can have up to 6 clients with 5 rooms per client. So you can actually save these out and come back to them and work on them, or you can export it and export a JPEG of what you just made. So that is the quick and easy how you make an arrangement. And then, yes, you can upload your client's room by clicking here. And I've already uploaded some rooms, so went through the process. So they're going to come up over on this side. And that's where they're gonna show up over in this folder once you've uploaded a room. And when you do upload a room, you're gonna want to put a piece of paper on the wall horizontally and take a picture of the wall. Make sure you get as much of the ceiling and the floor and the walls as possible, so you get all the information about their room when you're doing that. And then when you bring it into the software, we're gonna size it with that piece of paper. So let me just go to that wall that I uploaded.
That's an easy way to do it. I was wondering if that's how you did it. So that's perfect.
Yeah, so I've uploaded this room, and there's my 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Yep.
And then you're going to, oops, this showed up from my last session. You're going to hit this lock, and it unlocks the thing right here that represents the 8.5 by 11. So you're going to actually pick up your room. This one's already sized pretty close, but you can actually shrink or grow your room to get it to fit inside there.
That's easy.
Once it's exactly the right size, you can just pop it back into place and lock it back down. Another thing that's really cool is we actually have an app, the Frame Suite app that you can actually download, Frame Suite Room Uploader, I think it's called. I think you just have to type in Frame Suite. You can actually take a photo with your own phone of your client's room. You still want to hang up that piece of paper, and then that little blue box that shows up, you can actually move around with your finger and then just snap the picture, and it uploads it directly into our software.
Thank you for making that easy for us.
Yes, you can still make sure that you've sized it properly, but this is the funniest room too, because I actually did this to decide what TV to put in here. So this is my room. As you can see, let's see, what size did I end up going with here? Let's see, one up. Yeah, I went with the 50-inch. It wasn't this tall. It was probably one of these other ones. Up one. Yeah. So I went with a 50-inch TV. And so I don't know if you can see it. If we zoom over, you can see.
Oh, sure enough, there it is.
So obviously this one isn't 50-inch, but yeah, I was able to actually decide on what TV to put in here because of this. But one other thing, the reason that I have this room loaded in too is I just wanted to show you that if by chance you forgot about that piece of paper, you can actually use these arrangements to help you size the room. So if you were to know something the size of in your room, for example, I know that these cubbies are 12 by 12. So when I unlock this and I choose the square and I take it all the way down to a 12 by 12, and then I stick that over that, you can see, I mean, it's pretty close. I might have gone, but yeah. So that's, now I know that the room is properly sized. If I put that piece of paper back in, it's properly sized. So you can find ways. I mean, some people like, you know what size your electrical things are, or, so there are other ways to size it in case you forgot the piece of paper and you don't want to bug your client. But so, yeah, that's how that works. So let's see, what's next? What if you were to, let's see, where are we? make something such as that, right? That's going to give you a huge sale. This is a boudoir. I don't know if you have boudoir photographers in, but maybe put some
Yes.
clothes on your
Mhm.
boudoir, and boom, we got this amazing thing that was made in this closet. Staircases, as I said, we actually have all kinds of staircases that you can choose, as well as arrangements, full on arrangements.
That's so good.
We can
Yes.
also, if the staircase happened to be going in the other direction, we can flip this and actually put it in the other way. So anything that can flip will flip. It can be mirrored. And when you do make an arrangement, down here tells you what's also in there. When you hover over these, it'll tell you the exact size of each of these. But down here will also give you a very easy clue as to what you actually have in there. And remember, as we were saying, those minis, look at this. This is a 16 by 16. Look at how teeny tiny and
Yeah, it looks tiny there. And that's a perfect illustration because we know it. If we've done prints before, we know that a 16 by whatever is small in most situations. But our client, that seems large to them for some
yes.
reason.
I
They
mean,
have some
this,
kind of a mental disconnect on sizing and proportion. So this is having this visual is huge.
yeah, because I mean, this print on the inside is actually still 7 by 11, and this is a 12 by 16. So, it's still that 8 by 10, but at least the frame is getting us bigger. But of course, as you know, and as we were saying, like, you want to, give them, let me get back on here, the ability to see what it actually will look like on their walls, and to not be afraid of the size in that regard. So, let's say that you have created a beautiful room. Let's say this one in particular I created. Once this pops up, I'll show you it's also a little bit slower because we're over the thing. Okay, so I have this beautiful room, right? This is a ballerina. Again, why wouldn't you want to celebrate remember the dance pictures where you're just holding a baton or you're pointing? Look at this amazing display of photographs that was taken. And to be able to honor your dancer in this way would be, I think, pretty remarkable. This was
Oh
a
yeah.
pre-made design. It was a pre-made gallery. So I just popped it on the wall and popped these pictures in. So let's say that they say, yes, let's buy this. We're going to add this to the cart. Now what? So go ahead and add it to the cart. I've already done that. So this is your cart over here, but you have an invoice. So you actually can put your own pricing in here. And when you do make this arrangement, you add it to the cart, you can see the wall that was made. You can see the prices that you've decided for them, and you can discount it in real time. So if you say you buy 3 or more pieces right now, we'll give you a 20% discount. So we can do that right here in real time. We can also offer
Nice.
the image credit in here. You can put that in, put your own sales tax in there. And because this is just an invoice, another thing we can do is add other items to it. If you happen to have, your portrait boxes, or add 10 images. Look at this. I made my more than 10K sale right here. And so we actually can see this in real time. You can add notes to hang in 4 weeks, call Bill, etc. And then you can export this into a PDF. One other thing that's kind of neat about this is, if in the middle of this, the discounts aren't right, everything's just not right, but they're like, I still want all of this, maybe let's just drop her feet, right? Let's just drop that one piece. The gallery will
Yeah.
still look great. I can just go ahead and X that out right here on the spot. It'll let you know that it's been modified. It won't tell you it's gone here, but it will definitely show you that it's gone here. But then,
Okay.
look at how much they've
And
saved.
change the price. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're still good to go. And now we can close this sale. However, look at this giant Frame Suite logo. Who wants that on there? Another really cool thing is you can actually make this whole site your own site. So all you have to do is click on this profile, add your own PNG logo, go ahead and save that out. And it's no longer Frame Suite.
That's cool.
So your clients can't use us. We don't care that they even know we exist. We want you to have your logo to be on here from now on.
Yeah, I
So
definitely
when you
like that.
go back to the profile, exactly. And this is where you can actually, the invoicing, it's where you can actually change the prices. It's currently set to 5X. That way, if, for example, you're trying to get 4X and you do a 20% discount in person sales or whatever, then you still get your 4X. But also it's set that way because when we added the invoice, a lot of people were saying, oh my gosh, why is my price 4,800? And it's like, that's not your price. Your price is in the cart. And because when we first started this site, we had that little red circle showed up over the cart, and people were like, everyone's going to want to click on that. Now that we actually have the invoice here, no one ever clicks on the cart. They can't even, our clients can't even find their own cart. So everything is going to be defaulted to much more times than what you're paying, so that in case you haven't set your prices yet and you go in here, you can actually realize that, you know, you need to set your prices. But yeah, so then you can just go to the cart. And like I said, this is your cart. And so this is what you personally are going to pay for it, and as well as what the name of the image is, what media you chose, and a nice, beautiful giant picture to show you what it is that you have created. And then you have your total here. And we have promo codes. For anyone who wants to sign up with FrameSuite, if you sign up, I will send you an introductory email, and I will give you a promo code for a percentage off of your first order with us and your first studio order. So
Cool.
definitely when you, and as soon as you sign up with FrameSuite, I might send this out to everybody. So you don't have to be like, hey, I signed up with Jim. It's like, no, you can, as soon as you sign up, I'll get your information and I'll send you out that email.
Nice. You've gone with the software more than what you need to, because of this invoicing. So this is an extra. It's not just a design software. It's everything that you're going to need while you're with your client.
Yeah, and you know, one other thing that pops up here, you might see this beehive right here. That is our default for the hanging on the back of these. You can also do wire and hanger, but I love discussing the beehive. Would you like to unshare, and I'll show you what that means?
Yeah, show us.
Oh, first I have to go back to, go back here. Okay, so this is a system that I don't know who created specifically, but it's the beehive hanging system, I believe. If you go to our Facebook group, FrameSuite Insiders, you have to be let into that as well. But you can get all the tips and tricks on how to use our software and how to use our products, and you can also find the website that this comes from. But anyways, it comes, you know, on here like this. But this is the beehive. And you can see what it's kind of like a honeycomb. What you see is all of these holes right here. So all you're doing is putting 2 holes in the wall, and you have 1 inch on every side to get this hung up properly and even. And right here, there's this teeny tiny little pin sticking out on either side. So you just press this against the wall, kind of shimmy it. And then when you go to put the hardware in the wall, you know where to put it. And then this thing's called the stinger, because, you know, beehive, they're all about the bee. And so you can actually get one of these free on our website as well, and I'll show you where. But you can actually just press this into the pin, and then you just hammer this into the wall, or even just press it into the wall. And those are the pins. And I will show you in real time me using it on my beautiful wall over here. I've got my pins right there, and I've got my image right here to hang up. All I'm doing is just pressing this on the wall. I've hung it up. And if it's, like I said, if I need it to be lower, I can lower it. If it needs to be over a little bit, over a little bit. So there is 1 inch to get this hung up right without having to use additional tools, without putting extra holes, trying to figure out where the wire was when I go to hang this up. So it's an amazing foolproof system on how to hang this up. And I actually have an entire video where I hung this up on my wall, 1 piece at a time. I just anchored this to my chair, and then I just went up and over. And no tools, no, you know, levels, no measuring tapes, just hung it up, and it was a done deal. So like I said, everything defaults on Beehive, but it is, you can get the wire, the wire I've got on the back of my chicken here, but it's because I just we didn't have Beehive at the time. So yeah, it's a really fantastic.
That's pretty cool. That is cool. Thank you
Yeah.
for giving that demonstration too. That's definitely beyond what I was expecting, sharing that. And I don't know that everyone, I think most photographers don't do installation, and so that behind the scenes thing is something that they're just not familiar with. And installation, I understand why it's scary, because it was scary for me when I first started doing it. I'm scared, am I going to ruin someone's wall? Am I
Yes.
going to have to pay for it if something happens? You know, I break something, I drop something. Insurance covers all that. It's really not a big deal, assuming you're doing your business right and you have insurance. But I haven't yet broken anything in anyone's home. I haven't, I have put a hole where I didn't need to be, once or twice, but that's
Well,
actually pretty rare.
that's what
That's
the image
nothing
is
more.
for, right? You can actually
It
you can
covers
hide
up
the
those other
hole.
holes, and
I mean, the picture's going to be there for a
I
while. And not to
I do
mention when
bring
you
in
go to
some of that.
someone's that putty.
What was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
do
was
bring
going to
some
say
putty with me. Mhm.
yeah, well, not to mention when you go to someone's house, there's already walls. There's already holes all over their walls anyway. It's amazing.
True.
Like, especially when I worked in film, because obviously I wasn't allowed to put holes in walls unless I asked, and a lot of people said no. And so my job was to scour walls to find holes that were pre-existing, so I could hang up the things I needed to hang up in the movie with a pre-existing hole. But the like you were saying before, like, don't be afraid. I mean, here's the thing: if you built in enough margin, you can hire a handyman. Still, please make sure your handyman is good at doing this. We've actually encountered many handymen who don't actually quite even know what beehive is, and instead of looking it up, they put these things in the wall in the most peculiar way. And so one of the things we actually did, because this was happening enough times, we actually put a postcard in all of our boxes now that tell you how to hang up the beehive, because it truly has become a thing where I guess handymen don't like to ask questions. They just want to go for it. So
Get
be
in there,
sure
get it
that,
done. That's right.
yeah. But the other thing is, though, don't be afraid. Having been in many houses and also have had mishaps, if you are to go to install this and the paint chips away because the wall's made out of nothing, you can pick up the paint chip, take it to the hardware store, and for $10 get a little thing of paint and just paint that spot for them. And now they have extra
That's
paint and
true.
they're excited. Like, people aren't as scary as you think. Or
Yeah.
if it's being hidden under the wall and it's not a big deal, it's not a big deal. So, but I mean, we're not looking to be deceptive by any means, but don't be afraid of walls, is all I'm saying. It actually isn't that hard to hang these things up, especially because Beehive especially is very foolproof now. Like, you don't have to, it shows you where the hole is. You put the thing in, you hang it up. If it's not level, you have an inch to find that level. So,
My clients have been excited about it whenever if someone knew, that I share that I am full service. By the way, I've come across photographers who say they're full service and aren't doing even framing. So I'm not sure how they think they're full service unless they just ignorant of what else comes afterwards. But in my definition, full service means that you give your client no work. You
yes,
don't give them any work to do whatsoever. So the
yes, no
certain burners
homework,
are
less
giving
math,
just
more
digital
magic.
files. There's more work. Those photographers who are printing but not framing, they're giving their clients more work. Those photographers who do the framing but no installation are giving their clients more work. And I only discovered that over time because there was a mom who was going to have a housewarming party and wanted to get this family portrait on the wall for the housewarming party, and had a very tight deadline, and I made it happen. I got it framed and I delivered it so she could put it up on her wall, and I was invited to this housewarming party. Yay. And so I go and I'm thinking I'm going to see my photograph on the wall and everyone's going to be asking about it, and I'm going to get tons of referrals and tons of business because of this. And I get there and I'm looking around for the photograph, and I asked, did you wind up putting it upstairs instead of here? And she said, I ran out of time. At that moment, I realized that's Jim's fault. That is not her fault. That is me. That's not her job. That's my responsibility. Now that's based on my clients. I only work and I changed my target market into a 10-mile radius at that point so that I could actually get around to all my clients. I live in San Antonio, Texas, which if you're not from here, you probably don't know it's a good size. There's 2 million people in the area. And so within a 10-mile radius, there's about 200,000 people at least.
Yes.
And if I can't make a living with 200,000 people, then the problem is me, not my clients. And so I just reduced that space so that I could drive to their home and it wouldn't be a long drive. But that was what caused me to realize I need to do that. Now, I'm not saying that everyone in every situation should do the installation. And in fact, a lot of times I didn't. I hired an installer, especially when a new light was needed. If it was in a shadowed area of the home and a new light was
Oh,
needed
good
for the
point.
install,
Mhm.
I would hire an installer who could do both the installation of the electricity part of it, the light, and my print. And so I would hire someone to do that part for me. So I didn't always do it, but I did it a lot. But it was based off of different experiences with my clients, and that hurt. It hurt my feelings that she didn't get her goal, and it's my fault she didn't reach
That's
her
so funny
goal.
that you mentioned that, because I mean, I've actually heard that from Megan as well, and you just made me realize, yeah, don't do the homework for them, or don't give them homework, because
Yeah.
Megan very similarly had had sent off the, the images and they were never put on the wall. And you're like, oh my gosh, you paid all this money. Why didn't you put it up? And it's like,
Exactly.
I mean, because they're also in the same boat. Don't be wrong. They don't understand how to hang it up either, right? I mean, they're
That's right.
scared to hang up there and damage their walls and do whatever it is and go, I don't know what I'm doing. And so yeah. And the other thing too is to understand, we are a professional grade lab, as are, I'm sure, most that you're using. We're not a premium lab, right? This isn't like the most premium, like it is a white glove experience, but this isn't a $20,000 piece for you. So there are technically some flaws that will, that show up, but what's going to happen when you put this on the wall for them? They'll never see any of it. Like if the corners aren't exactly the same, because I say that because these are hand built. These are not made in a, just dipped into a form. They're not like just out of the store. You can't just get these anywhere. They're hand built. And so the corners are going to be slightly different. And like, it's kind of like, when you get something hand sewn, right? You see one little tiny stitch. You're like, oh, I know someone made that for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Those aren't flaws. However, when a lot of times, if you've never done wall art, you've never done this before, you're going to get this in and go, because you're scared of the price you charged. You're scared of the piece you made. People view this from a distance on a wall. Like, this is what it's meant to look like. And so also too, like some of the frame corners, if you look at it, one of the frame corners has this like strange orange line on it. You can see it when you do the 3D view. But when it's on the wall, you don't see it. And I remember we had someone say, what is this line on here? I can never deliver this. I'm like, put this on the wall. They did. Client loved it. Now it's their favorite frame. It's the one they sell all the time. So be understanding of like, this is wall art for the wall to be seen from a distance. I'm not saying a far distance. You can get up close to it. I mean, I showed you these really up close and personal. I just mean that, these are hand constructed, and don't be scared of them. Don't be scared of what you made. But if you give it to the client, they are now going to have to go, what am I looking at here? Like, don't give them that option.
Nice. I love it. Hey, are you guys watching this? Are you guys, I see several people have commented, and of course I'm encouraging you guys to comment and hit that like button, hit that love button. But you're getting some comments,
Yeah,
Misty, like, this
really
is so good, and
everybody.
I love it, and beehive hangers are awesome, and I really like this one. Misty's a rock star, an explanation.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I love helping photographers sell wall art. I really do. I mean,
it shows.
I actually, it gives my creative juices flowing. So please sign up and ask to have a Zoom call with me. This is what I'm doing right now, is what I'll do with you for as long as you want. I'll just sit on the call. I give an hour between calls. Some people it's 10 minutes. You can also get on a Zoom call with me just for a 5-second thing. Like, I forgot how to do this one thing. It's like, because I think our site is very easy to use, but it's not entirely intuitive because you don't know to use the keyboard or, so everything has a learning curve. So don't be afraid to talk to me. Our community is exceptionally empathetic and beautiful and lovely and not mean at all. So people will say, what do you think of this on the wall? What do you think of this design? And we'll all give you feedback that's, very loving and helpful, because we want you to sell. That's all we want you to do.
I love it. And you're doing it so well.
Oh, thanks. We're trying.
I just put up on the screen a QR code so viewers can go to the Frame Suite Insiders.
Well, that's exciting.
Group. And so you guys, if you're on your cell phone already, I don't know how this helps, but if you're watching from a computer, then take your cell phone and just photograph that, or put it in the camera mode. It automatically takes you to, try it. It should automatically take you to Frame Suite Insiders.
There it is. I'm in.
Cool.
Well, that's exciting. I love it.
Yep. And I'm going to try it too. Just playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was easy. You guys photograph it and go see the Frame Suite Insiders group.
Yeah, so I put up 3 to 5 minute little videos once a week at least. Just especially when questions just keep popping up, that I'll give explanations on something, or if you ask a question there, sometimes I'll just give you a video answer, just because sometimes it's really hard to just sit there and try to type out an answer, especially when it's a tech support question. So but we're here, and we're here to listen as well. A lot of times, we will get the message if people are asking a question over and over. Like one of the things that was newer to our site, which is pretty funny because it's an oversight, was the drop down menu to choose the frame. We didn't have one at first because, you know, Megan's philosophy is that we want you to cycle through. Well, we do still want it to be quick and easy. So you do still want to find which one you're looking for. And so someone said, can you please put a drop down menu? We did. So we're actually, you know, it is still, it's not total groupthink, but I mean, we are, you know, here to help facilitate you and make this easy for you, because that's the name of the game. We don't want you to, when you go to design something, we don't want you to have to spend hours and hours, you know, and when you're thinking about selling wall art, you know, one of the things Megan likes to say is no one likes wall art. No one wants wall art until you show it to them, right? But she's always thinking about photographing through wall art. So if you, for example, have a session with a senior, is there a way to get mom and dad or the rest of the kids in for a couple shots? You know, if you're doing a family portrait, make sure everyone's in the right color scheme. If you're doing some, you know, make sure if they have a very soft palette, you're not putting them in fuchsia, you know, or if you are putting them in fuchsia, also put them in something soft. If they're doing, you know, just like find ways, or if every kid, you're taking an individual picture and 4 of them are on a gray background and 1 is in polka dot background, like make sure that you're getting yourself in a place where you can make these galleries.
You've got such good advice for us. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for giving your time to us and sharing your experiences and your high energy, which I think all of us love. And so, are there any final thoughts you'd like to give us before I start closing out the show?
Yeah, I mean, my final thoughts were, you know, like I mentioned Megan a lot, you know, it just would, I think that it would help if you did want to, if you're very new to wall art sales, I mean, check out her wall art revolution, see if it's something that you would be interested in, if it's really something that you've never really even thought of adding into your collection, your repertoire, because the sales are just exponential. But you don't need it to do, you know, to make wall art. Please get in touch with me and I will set you up with all the knowledge that I have learned from her and seen and try to help you out in that way too if you haven't. So that was about all my pitch.
Well, it was fantastic. I'm sure our viewers got a lot out of this. So thank you so much, Missy, for giving us an overview of all the different options and possibilities and advantages of using this software, using FrameSuite. You know, we're doing it. It makes it easier for those who were scared, and they can plan this out in front of their client, make sure that everything is good and approved, and move forward with it. They can see their invoice right then and there. If they don't like the price, they've got line item veto to take something out. Man, it makes it so easy. And so you guys have thought of everything, and so it's exciting to see the things that we can add right away to make our job easier and improving the experience of our clients. So your passion for empowering photographers is inspiring. So keep up the amazing work. I know our audience is eager to take advantage of all the fantastic features in FrameSuite. So thank you, Missy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you letting me come on and talk about my passion.
Thank you so much. You rock. You're awesome. and I look forward to the next time you and I get to talk.
So I know,
thank you
right?
for being here.
That's so much fun.
Bye, Missy. All right. So you guys, she's awesome. And I'm so glad that you guys were here to experience that and hear what she had to say. So a huge thank you to Missy DePiro. It's always interesting to hear different perspectives and to hear what's going on at different companies. And it's uplifting to know that Missy and her team are working so hard to help make our workflow easier. We're at the end of another episode of the FilterPixel Live show. I want you to do me a favor and in the comments, give me a takeaway. Tell me what you got from this, what you learned from this. It could be just one word. It could be, I'm excited, or I haven't done this before, but now I'm encouraged to do so. And it could be just as simple as, thank you, Missy, for giving us your time, for sharing with us the excitement that you have for the things that we're doing and helping us to make it easier. Whatever it is you want to say it in the comments right now before I end the show out. As you know, we do this show every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. And so it's going to be different based on where you're at, but put it on your calendar so that you're here next week when we go live Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central for FilterPixel Live. I want you to tune in each week as we explore more topics impacting photographers here on FilterPixel Live. We're committed to providing the photographer community with inspiring stories and practical advice to empower your work. If you haven't already, check out filterpixel.com. It'll make a huge impact on your workflow. And if you haven't joined the FilterPixel family on Facebook, then I am inviting you to take advantage of that and become a member. I'll put that back on the screen real quick so you can use your phone and photograph that. I'm not going to leave it on the screen very long, so if you've got your phone handy, get a photograph of that or watch the replay. And do me a favor, if you are watching this live right now, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but enter in hashtag live. Hashtag live. That tells me that you're watching live. And if you're watching as a replay, hashtag replay. All right. So that is the end of this presentation, but your dreams are waiting. I believe in you. Now get out there and get them. For FilterPixel, this is Jim Landers. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's FilterPixel Live. I look forward to watching you grow. Bye for now.